Good evening and welcome to the Taft City Council meeting for July 2nd, 2013. As always, we will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilman Ron Waldrop, and we'll follow up with some sort of an invocation. So please rise.
Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would please remain standing and just if we would observe a moment of silence for the firefighters who lost their lives in the line of duty in Arizona recently. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Linder,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pryor,
Here.
Councilmember Miller,
Here.
Councilmember Noor,
Here.
Councilmember Waldrop.
Here.
Thank you. First item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing to adopt a resolution authorized to collect standby refuse charges for vacant commercial buildings. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Section 5473 of the Health and Safety Code authorizes the collection of refuse fees by the county tax collector upon adoption of an appropriate resolution by the City Council. On June 18th, 2013, Council conducted a public hearing and passed a resolution authorizing the collection of refuse charges by the Kern County tax collector. However, the ordinance setting the fees for such collections did not provide for a standby fee for vacant commercial buildings. An amended ordinance was introduced at that meeting and a second reading later this meeting, making it necessary to hold another passage of an additional resolution to authorize the Kern County tax collector to collect refuse standby fees for vacant commercial buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. At this time, I will conduct a public hearing, and I'll open it and invite anybody wishing to speak in favor of or against this resolution to please come forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and I'd entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled "The Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft Providing for Collection of Standby Refuse Charges by the County Tax Collector pursuant to Section 5473 ETSEC Health and Safety Code."
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cryer, comments?
No comment.
Mr. Miller?
I have no comment.
Mr. Waldrop?
No comment.
Mr. Noor?
No comment, Mr. Mayor.
Then it's unanimous. It's no comment night. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Noor,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. Item number 2 is another public hearing to adopt a resolution authorizing the Kern County tax collector to collect standby sewer charges for vacant commercial buildings. Mr. Jones.
On June 18th, 2013, Council conducted a public hearing and passed a resolution authorizing the collection of sewer charges by the Kern County tax collector. However, the ordinance setting the fees for such collection did not provide for a standby fee for vacant commercial buildings. An amended ordinance was introduced at the meeting and a second reading later this meeting, making it necessary to hold another public hearing and passage of an additional resolution authorizing Kern County tax collector to collect sewer standby fees for vacant commercial buildings.
Thank you. At this time, I will conduct a public hearing and invite any of those folks wishing to speak in favor of or against this resolution to please come forward. Seeing none, close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft Providing for Collection of Standby Sewer Charges by the County Tax Collector pursuant to Section 5473 ETSEC Health and Safety Code."
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Miller, comments?
No comment.
Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
Mr. Noor?
No comment.
Mr. Waldrop?
No comment.
I have no comment. Thank you. May we have a roll call?
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes. I snuck in there, didn't I? I'm lighting the load a little bit.
Councilmember Miller,
Stole my thunder one more. Yes.
and Councilmember Noor,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Mayor Hoop?
Okay, Mayor Miller.
I'm redeemed.
I think that's going to pass on a 7-0 vote. I would vote in favor of that, yes. And that passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you, Louise. Item number 3 is a public hearing, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Public hearing was set to allow for public comment concerning Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The engineer's report for Landscape Maintenance District Number 1 was received at City Council meeting on June 18, 2013. Landscape Maintenance District Number 1 consists of Tract 5574, Phase 1, Tract 5956, Phases 1 through 3, and Tract 6114. The parcel assessment will remain at the same level as last year, $86. The funds from the district will be collected by the Kern County Assessor's Office and distributed to the city as a special assessment. These assessments, when collected, will go to the respective funds to pay for maintenance and operation of landscaping and lighting of the district. It is recommended that the City Council adopt the resolution setting the assessments for Maintenance District Number 1 for final year 2013-2014 as presented in the engineer's report. If the attached resolution is adopted by City Council, City Clerk will deliver a certified copy of the adopted resolution, a copy of the fully executed engineer's report to the Kern County Auditor Controller's Office of Special Assessments to complete the process.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. At this time, I will conduct the third public hearing of the night, and I will open it and invite anybody wishing to speak in favor or against this resolution to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft Setting the Assessment for Landscape Maintenance District Number 1."
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr, comments?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I believe the voters have spoken. It was interesting that not very many of them spoke, but a majority is a majority. So I guess you'll go forward. Hopefully, the grass will remain green and the shrubbery will continue to get trimmed and cleaned up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Walters?
I think that was very well said. Thank you.
Mr. Miller?
This is not about making a profit, this is about covering our costs, and that's what we're trying to do at this time.
Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
My only comment is that at the current rate that we are collecting, we are not covering cost. In fact, you gentlemen have seen the budget line item. We are going into deficit spending, maintaining our landscape and lighting districts, and if the citizens of those areas don't agree to increase the cost, something's got to give. It's funded by general fund rather than by the folks that live in those neighborhoods. So anyway, we have had discussion, and may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Noor?
Yes.
Councilmember Walter?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Linder?
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote also. Item number 4 is the final public hearing of the night, and it deals with skate park ordinance prohibiting bicycles. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The continued use of bicycles in the West Side Park and Rec District skate park is continuing to be a problem. The two issues involving the bicycles are injuries and damage. The skate park was not designed for bicycle use. The bicycle frames, pedals, and foot pegs are causing damage to the edges of the formed concrete balls used by the skaters. This amended ordinance will prohibit bicycles from inside of the interior of the skate park and allow for correct enforcement of this ordinance.
Thank you. At this time, I would conduct a public hearing, and I will open it and invite anybody wishing to speak in favor of or against this ordinance to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft amending Section 4 of Chapter 13 of Title 9 of the City of Taft Municipal Code relating to the Taft Skate Park." This is for a first reading by title only, and reading of the ordinance shall be waived.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr.
Well, it's interesting that we don't have a whole bunch of young bicyclers in the audience, because I think we've talked about this in the past. I was fortunate enough to be on the Parks and Rec Board when some of this was going on, and know firsthand that the design of the skate park was for that. It was for skateboards and inline skates. Those things have to be approved through risk management. As far as the overall design, there are radiuses involved, the protection of the edges, and it is specific to those uses. It is specific to inline skates and designed for that. It is specific to skateboards and designed for that. It is not for bicycles. It's not, doesn't have grinding rails the way that bicycles use, and it does create a very real problem, and it can damage the surfaces and then create a liability for that which it was meant, which is inline skates and skateboards. I've seen young kids there many times, and older kids on bicycles, and they have been warned and they have been talked to about it. We have handed out countless helmets and tried to educate parents about the dangers involved, and your children only have one head. My son competed in bicycle racing and motocross and quads and all those things over the years. I cannot tell you how many helmets I have purchased in those 20 years of racing. But you know what? I always bought the very best I could afford because it's much less expensive than damage to your children's head. So if you're going to allow them or encourage them to engage in those activities, outdoor activities, which I much prefer to constantly being indoors doing nothing, then you have to help them understand what they've got to do to protect themselves. As far as this ordinance, this will not only protect those kids, but it also protects the district and the city. So I do have some firsthand knowledge regarding these things, and it is not vindictive in any way, shape, or form. It truly makes sense, and it's meant to make people understand what that facility was designed for. It's everybody's safety that this ordinance addresses. So I support it. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Well, there was an article in today's Driller in regards to what the Recreation Board had thoughts about the skate park, and they just soon fill it up with dirt and be done with it. So what's going on here at the skate park is we have a bunch of kids that are abusing a really great privilege of being able to go in that park for free. The city and the Recreation District has worked over the years to maintain it and keep it in good condition, and all they're doing is going down, tearing it up. There's been reports of drug use. There are bicycles that are going in there that shouldn't be in there, and at one point, somebody's going to get hurt, and then we're just going to shut it down, and that'll be the end of it. And then there will be kids riding around skateboards around town, and we're going to, the police department's going to be enforcing that, taking skateboards away and talking to parents. We don't want to do any of that. And if the kids down there would self-police themselves and pick up their trash and take some pride in that park because it's for them. I don't see a bunch of us down there riding skateboards in the park. So this is strictly for the kids in the community. And if you can't take care of it, you're going to lose it. And so this is a serious matter that we're facing here tonight. This ordinance. We don't want bicycles in there, period. And we're redoing our ordinance here so that if we catch kids in there, you're going to get your bicycle taken away and probably face a fine, and you'll eventually get it back, but it'll be evidence until your case is resolved. So all I can say is the young people in town, let's buck up here and then take care of your skate park. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Waldron?
Well, we keep improving Taft, or try to, and our kids, no matter what the problem is, whether parents or just bad teaching, they're tearing up what we're trying to build, and if they don't take care of it, what are we supposed to do, We need to have a little bit more child. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Back in our days, our parents would give us a good licking, and that's what it took. And hands are tied now, but they better wise up or they're going to lose it all. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer?
Thank you, Mayor. We have a really nice skate park. I bring a lot of visitors here in town, and I give them a tour of Taft. And we go by the skate park, and it always amazed how nice it is. how big it is, and we have some of the cities don't have. And unfortunately, he noticed they had bicycles and skateboards in there, and was wondering how it could be so compatible. And that was my concern too, because in my days when I'm not doing too much in the evenings, get kind of bored, I use this iPad and kind of watch the skate park from a distance. And I've seen some crashes on there. Nobody got hurt serious or anything, but I've seen where two bicycles will collide or they'll fall over and some guy on a skateboard would hit it. And it's amazing that anybody hadn't gotten seriously hurt. And there's a reason you just got to keep them separate. If there have been talk in the past was have one day's bicycles and on different days on skateboard, but the skateboard park is not compatible with bicycles the way it's designed, and that could lead to a liability issue to the city. Our main concern is once you pass this ordinance, who's going to watch it and enforce the laws on this ordinance to make sure it does happen, where somebody does get hurt and somebody goes to a lawyer and say, well, they passed this ordinance and they still allow bicycles in there and the kids still got hurt. There's issues there that could happen, and they're looking ahead with the judicious litigation attorneys that we have out there, all looking for an easy way out. So passing this ordinance, I hope we do monitor it and empower whoever it is to see that the ordinance is enforced and protect it and make a good state, keep the skate park in good condition still. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Cryer. I was a little taken back by the article in the paper tonight also. I didn't realize that there had been an issue brewing that would upset at least one board member to the point of some of the statements that were made. First of all, what we're doing tonight is we're enhancing our ordinance so that we can cite and go after the violators of the skate park. As time evolves, our ordinance have to also, because there's always a little spot in the law that somebody can circumvent or get under. So we are putting bite in our bark tonight for bicycles on the skate park. And if once we go through this process, which will take another 30 days, I believe, 45 days, thank you, we will be able to cite those that are using the skate park inappropriately. I don't think skateboards and bicycles can commingle up there. We know that that's not the issue. The park was never developed or designed for that. When we built the skate park, and I believe Mr. Miller, you and I were on the council at the time, we received, I want to say it was $100,000 to build the skate park. And they... $400,000? Oh, okay. And the rec district at the time was more than gracious to take it over. They've maintained it. They've enhanced it. It's a wonderful setting for those on skateboards that want to enjoy that sport. Coming down here tonight, I saw two bicycles on there myself, and so I think what we need to do is put the bite in the bark, which is what we're beginning to do. But I also want, and I spoke with Mr. Koenig from the Westside Rec and Park District tonight, and he understands the frustrations. We understand your frustrations. The city wants to work with the Westside Park as a partner, and I think we have a good partnership, and I will be happy to come to any of your meetings that you think it would be appropriate for me to do so and answer questions, and if there's concerns, we need to get those taken care of at those kind of a level and before it hits the newspapers. We want it to be all rosy and flowery, so we do appreciate the Westside Park District and what you're doing in the community, so thank you very much. Having said that, I believe we've had discussion. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Noor?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Mayor Linder?
Yes, thank you, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. So, the next item is a special recognition, and gentlemen, if you'll allow me, I will just present it myself. This is a certificate of appreciation from the City Council of the City of Taft, and it hereby commends Curtis Walchuk for selfishly serving the City of Taft as a planning commissioner. Pardon me?
Selflessly.
Selflessly? Thank you. Oh, I did say selfishly, didn't you? Well, that's my faux pas for the night. For selflessly serving the city of Taft as a planning commissioner from August 9th, 2005 through June 30th, 2013, and he served as both its vice chairman and chairman. And we extend our best wishes for his future, and is signed and dated by the entire council. And Mr. Walchuk could not be here tonight. He had it's typical of people like him, he had a previous engagement. He's working a fireworks booth, and I'm sure that's for a nonprofit organization, and he's out there in the 110-degree heat tonight. But if you will allow me, I'll just read this letter. It's rather short, but it says, Mayor Linder, and to the Taft City Council members and all of City Hall, I'm pleased to be recognized by the City of Taft for my contribution to the Planning Commission these past 7+ years. It is a rewarding and valuable lesson for me to learn just what it takes to be energized for the future, and the effort of the many men and women involved that keep our city running and in good standing day to day, year after year. I have many fond memories of this realization. It was an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you. And then unfortunately, he says he cannot be here tonight because he committed to working a fireworks booth. I am very grateful to have had the opportunity and willingness to be involved in many important projects. Most importantly, early on was the Rural Health Care Committee. That was a great learning curve for me and so many others for looking forward to projects that would benefit all the people involved in those processes. Again, I appreciate my time on the Planning Commission. If he was present, he would also add what he has learned from his experience. A city can only sustain if citizens are present, accountable and willing to change with the forever changing future. My observations are most folks have a desire to be part of their community and to serve in some capacity. They may or may not be aware that they are needed and or what their help in these matters would mean to both them and the city they choose to live in. Signed sincerely, Curtis Walchuk. And like I said, I would be honored to get this to Mr. Walchuk at a future time. He served us very well, did a great job, and I think he will be missed. So,
Yes, sir, I agree.
thank you, Mr. Walchuk. All right, moving on to item number 6, which is citizens' request for public comments. Kathy Orrin from the Chamber.
Got to read the statement.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes, and that's to my discretion. So,
Whoa,
yeah, I just want to make that clear.
okay. Well, I'll
You've got
make this
6 and a
brief.
half. I'm going to give you 6.5.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I want to let you know that the fireworks are almost here. Yay! I want to thank and acknowledge Westside Waste Management. Mr. Hampton happens to be in the audience tonight. He is our title sponsor. Our first contributor, Councilman Knorr, thank you. That got us energized, and we appreciate that, and the support of all the council. Thank you. This has been an interesting project, and I know it's not over yet, but we're very hopeful that we have thought of most things. So we're looking forward to a wonderful experience on the Rails to Trails tomorrow evening, and of course our community picnic on the 4th of July. I want to acknowledge some folks that we haven't acknowledged before, because until things proceeded, we didn't know we needed them, as things happen that way. I want to thank Billy Long, who is going to be in town. Thank you, Jesus. Because most of our church has gone to a church camp, and when I called for him, it was kind of clear that our PA needs were not going to be met unless we had his expertise, and he has rallied, and it's going to be a wonderful experience for those of us that are enjoying the bands and the music that goes along with the fireworks. So I want to say a special thank you to Billy. Also, Fastenal has donated a pallet of water That's a lot of water, by the way, and it will be sorely needed. I don't know what the chamber has done to Mother Nature, but for the last 3 things that we have had, there has been unusually horrible weather. I don't know if God's reacting to something you guys have done, or...
I believe
or if
it's a chamber
me.
issue.
You think it's a chamber issue? I was hoping that wasn't the case. It may be. I also want to acknowledge the West Side Recreation and Park District. They are giving us 20 volunteers.
Wow.
And they are going to be working the perimeter of the zone. And it's wonderful because paid volunteers are a highly motivated group. And the Park District is going to be paying them, and I appreciate that. The festivities tomorrow will get started at 7 p.m. Kayla Schuyler is going to be opening with a bit of a concert from 7 to 7:30. Truxton Mile will be singing, or will be performing, and the fireworks begin at 9. And after the fireworks, the Cadillac Angels will be performing in the concert area. So we're beer is available if you're old enough and you want to spend your time in the beer garden, that's fine. We'll be glad to accommodate you. Thank you for the Petroleum Club doing that. So this is the effort of many, many people. The next day, bounce houses will replace the beer garden, and we will have the Christian Ministers Association taking over in conjunction with the community, with the chamber for the community picnics. So we're looking forward to that. There'll be balloon launching, watermelon eating contests, and all kinds of fun. And by the way, the bounce houses all have water features, so that will be a lot more fun for the kids. So we're just on the brink of having a wonderful time, and I invite everybody to come down to the Rails to Trails. I know it's going to be hot, but there are trees there, there's shade, and in the evening it will be a spectacular fireworks show. So thank you.
Great job, Kathy, thank you. Supervisor David Couch is with us tonight. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good to be here. I'm here tonight to propose for your consideration something that we're proposing throughout the different cities and communities in the 4th District. And it's really a pilot program to address overpopulation of pets. And it's a spay and neuter program. I would like through our office to start on a very small scale. I'm talking maybe $1,000 or $2,000. And my request would be for you to consider matching that. And we've arranged through a rather new nonprofit in Bakersfield called Critters Without Litters. And what they do is really kind of a state-of-the-art spay and neuter operation. That's all they do. And we've arranged also for a donation for gas money to get the animals from Taft or wherever they are in the 4th District to the facility in Bakersfield. They have the procedure done, they spend the night, which is the best for the animal, and then they're returned the next day. They can be either picked up by the owner or they can be returned. We're arranging for transportation as well. Typically, that type of procedure costs $100 or maybe a little bit more. We've arranged for an $80 cost. We would like to pay half. We'd like the city of Taft, the city of Wasco, the community of Button Willow, some of the mountain communities to kick in the other half and just see if we could make a dent in that cause of animal control. At $2,000, not each, but at $2,000 total, I think that would get us 12 and a half animals. Can't do half an animal. $4,000, I think we get 25 animals. So that's the proposal. We can get you something in writing so you can actually have something you consider that as you think about it. But we'd really like to start small and see if the people of Taft and the people of the other communities in the 4th District would react to that. I'm not concerned about spending county money in the city of Taft because I recognize that your residents also live in the county. So we would really just do this probably by zip code, And if somebody happens to live in the city of Taft and they want to take advantage of the $40 that the county is offering as well, that's perfectly fine with us. I recognize you may have some other considerations because you probably need to recognize that your $40, if you chose to do it, might be spent outside the city of Taft. So that might be something you want to consider, but the stray animals don't know the boundaries between the city
They
and
don't
the
stop
county, and
at the
they tend to
streets,
cross
do
them all they want. Anyway, that's a proposal, and I wanted to come tonight just to sort of lay that out for you in person. We can get you something in writing as well. And additionally, I wanted to offer that we are looking for people to serve specifically on something called the Kern County Heritage Commission. Now, what do they do? I would suggest that you go online and take a look at that commission and see what the duties are, but they really do things that are pretty non-controversial. If we need somebody needs to be at an event for veterans or for to do the flag salute or to do those types of functions, we'd like to have somebody in the area instead of sending somebody all the way from Bakersfield to handle those types of functions. If you've got somebody here that you think would be good for that, if you could feed their names, or if somebody hears about this, either watching on television or something, contact our office and get them to fill out an application. We're looking for some good people, not a big time commitment to perform those types of functions.
It's great. Thank you,
Questions?
Supervisor. Just a quick question.
And we're still working on tearing down a lot of the
Yes, you are.
dilapidated buildings that you guys have had to put up with for far too long.
And we appreciate that so much. Your staff has been great. Regarding the spay-neuter program, you've arranged for a reduced cost in spay and neutering. If somebody wanted to pay that price rather than the 120, would
They
they?
can pay it, yeah.
They could get it for 80 also?
$80.
And even in the same respect, if they could only afford $40, then we could supplement the additional $40 or...
Yeah, that's one thing that our office has kicked around a lot, is that how do you get people to do this? Is it better to have them pay $5 or $10 and then there's some value to it?
Right.
Or is it better to say, we'll take care of half and the city or the community takes care of the other half and it's free? So that's why we like to start small and
Sure.
see, maybe we'll try it differently the next time and see what works, and then try to kind of dial that into really where we get the best response and just do that over and over.
Very good. If you'll forward that information to our staff, we will certainly consider it at our next meeting.
My pleasure.
Gentlemen, do you have any comments or questions?
Oh, great idea, thank you.
I think starting small would be a great litmus test, so to
And
speak.
and we could start at any point, at any size you'd like, feel comfortable with.
That's a great idea. And also, while you're there, I'd like to thank you for the job that your staff did and the Kern County Park Recreation did at the skate, we call the street hockey park
Oh, yeah,
by the
yeah.
Veterans Hall. They did a great job. You went out real quick, and it was wonderful what you did for the kids on that side of the world there.
Well, I have to give the credit to the staff. By the way, all but one of them are here tonight. You know, Alan Christensen, my chief of staff, and Ryan Schultz, and the irrepressible Mark Salvaggio. That was Mark's project, and I give him credit for that. He worked hard on that. And our Parks Department did a good job.
They did an excellent job. I looked at it.
I don't know how they have no money, but they do a lot of projects, so,
And thank you, Mark, for a job well done.
thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much, David. See you next time. Okay, that concludes our citizens' requests, so we'll move on to council statements, non-action. I'm going to start with Mr. Waldrop tonight.
Well, I'm glad that we got a few dignitaries here from Bakersfield. I'm bragging so much about them that it's getting old news. But I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of Mark and Ryan and David, Golly,
And Alan.
and Alan, yeah. I was lucky to remember those three. I'll tell you what, you guys are, my hat's off to you, and anytime I can do anything for you guys, just ask. In fact, I'll be involved in this dog thing. Thank you for coming, and appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, I'd like to encourage citizens, the kids in Taft and the Alpine area, take advantage of that skate park, street hockey park. They do a wonderful job, and it's by the Veterans Hall, Veterans Park, and just enjoy it. And there's also a basketball court there too. You can enjoy yourself there. I know it's kind of hot these days, but at nighttime it cools down, and winter's approaching. Another thing is, we got a brand new Pizza Hut that's opened up today. I was really impressed how busy it was in the first couple of hours. had over 100 orders of pizza, and the town really received it quite well. Very busy, and a little drive around, seems like the other pizza parlors are doing business good, so there's plenty of room for everybody for our pizza going. This town loves pizza, that's for sure. But it was a nice opening there, and I was very well impressed with it. And another thing too, we have 4th of July coming up, and we're lucky to have a town that really supports it. The businesses here, Bob Hampton, and our Councilman David Knorr, and all the council, everybody here supports the 4th of July. Many cities don't have fireworks. Even the military, through the sequestration, don't have fireworks. The Camp Lejeune, they're bypassing the 4th of July fireworks this year because there's no money for it. But yet, our president goes on a $100 million plus trip to Africa for a vacation. Here it is, he should be here, so, and helping out the military, the towns, and our former government, our Declaration of Independence. They sacrificed their lives, their heritage, for our future here. A lot of them lost their lives being hung by the crown. They lost their fortune. Can you imagine having the press, the news today, back in them days? I can hear it now. Angry, white, rich men were overthrowing the government. Well, they did. Business people overthrowing the government here. You know, they always look at the negatives here. They don't look at the future here. It's not about what color or race. It's for everybody. We're here to represent people from all over the nation, bring you that you're poor, bring us that you're ill, here to become something, make something of yourselves, a future, a right to pursue happiness. It's not a guarantee you'll get happiness, or education, or health care. It's not a guarantee, but the right to pursue it. We soon forget what we were founded on. And the government cannot provide everything. It's up to us to do it. We elect people in office to provide certain means for continuing our government, for plumbing, sewer, water. That's all part of government. But as far as guaranteed for work, welfare, is not in there in the Constitution for that. This is a right to pursue. But we soon forget that one day we not have our republic as we know it today. It's going to turn to a different form of government, and we're very fortunate that we're the longest continuing constitutional republic in the world. No nation that lasted as long as we have. We don't know what war is like in this country here. We don't know what civil revolution is or deterioration. We don't know that yet because we have a good form of government if we can keep it, and I'm worried that we might lose it one of these days. And we need to celebrate and remember and reflect back what July 4th is all about. And before the Constitution was even passed, a lot of states were afraid of it still because they weren't sure to give all the guarantees. That's what comes in our Bill of Rights. Right to free speech, guaranteed. Right to our religion, where no government can determine one religion for all our people, for the citizens. The right to have many religions. Right to bear arms in order to keep all our amendments in our Constitution. Not the right to hunt. It doesn't say anything about the right to bear arms for whatever reason we need to defend ourselves from foreign and domestic enemies. Not domestic or foreign, but both. And tyranny. It's just our right to ever come to that way. And that's what our 4th of July is all about. We need to reflect on that we're very fortunate to live in our country that we have. And that's all I have, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cryer. Mr. Knorr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I remember last year when Dr. Warren decided that they were going to take on the issue of gathering up the funds necessary so that we could have the 4th of July back in the city of Taft. And like you said, I love fireworks. I love this country. God bless America. I'm proud to be an American. I'm not necessarily proud of our government from time to time, but I am sure enough proud to be an American all day, every day. And we should be able to celebrate our independence, and we're going to do it. I got a couple of special tickets right here. I want to be close to where they launch them. I love that. So hopefully Supervisor Couch and his Cracker Jack staff will be able to come here on the 3rd and be a part of it. Love to have you all here because you are making a real difference and you're a part of our community as well. So you are welcome to be here for our celebration. I'm sure Bob right there is going to be able to get you right in the front door. So anyway, 4th of July is coming up, and we're going to celebrate on the Rails to Trails. It reminded me, as a matter of fact, I was thinking about the monument. I went by there the other day, and I believe there might be, unless there are already orders in place and bricks coming, there might be room for 15, 20, maybe more people to be a part of that monument. I mean, we're down to a little bitty space, folks. 15 or 20 people left, maybe. That's not official number, so if you and 16 of your friends go down there and Dr. Orrin has to tell you, well, it's too late. Yeah, it depends on the size. Look at some of the big ones and some of the small ones. There is not much space left. So, friends of the city of Taft and the people and our heritage and the monument itself have just about completed it. And as a matter of fact, it's rather ironic because when Supervisor Couch was talking about running for supervisor and representing the people of the West Side, I couldn't seem to get hooked up with him. I wanted to talk to him. We were talking about what he's going to do and possibly endorsing him. I was very busy, and he called me one day and I said, you know what, I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to go by the Golden Arches, grab a cheeseburger, and I'm going to sit down at the Old Workers Monument. You want to talk to me? I'll see you there. And that's where we talked. That's where we sat down. We talked about what the people of the West Side deserved and what they needed and what they hadn't been getting, and he made a promise. And, you know, he is keeping his promise, and he and his staff they're go-getters, and it's not just cleaning things up. It's anytime an issue comes up, whether it's the hockey, like you say, the hockey facility, or it's pet issues, or it's lighting up the flag at the Veterans Hall, there's just nothing that they won't address and follow up on. I constantly get emails, especially from Mark. I have a special computer dedicated to Mark because my hard drive crashed. But you talk about responsive government, and they're a model of that. And you guys should be proud of what you've done. And the people of the West Side, you have got access to government like you've never had before. So anyway, I won't go on about that. I got to tell you, Kathy, I thank you very much for taking on the 4th of July. Mr. Hampton, who is a huge friend of the West Side, he always steps up when we need him. Thank you very much, Bob. And I hope to see everybody at the 4th of July fireworks. It's going to be a party. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, and also appreciate Supervisor Couch's staff, and one of the things that they're working on is signage on 11933, which is, you know, kind of the forest for the trees. We didn't realize what we didn't have and what we should have had, and Caltrans just kind of forgot about us. So we're going to have some new signage out there that'll say, you know, so many miles to Taft and exit here, and it's going to be coming. So I figure, in the next 2 or 3 months, we'll probably be up to snuff and be where we should be with signage. So they're holding Caltrans to the fire, and we appreciate that very much. Pizza Hut is a very welcomed new addition to our community, and we appreciate them coming back, and they've apparently spent quite a bit of money putting that new facility together, and I'm terribly sorry that I could not make their grand opening today, as I had a doctor's appointment in Bakersfield. Everything turned out okay, but I'm saddened that I couldn't make the grand opening, so appreciate that. One of the things I want to remind people was when I was mayor, we didn't have this kind of weather, so I don't know if it's related or not, Kathy, so something's going on, so. Also, in regards to 4th of July, I won't add much more to that, but fly your flags. Go get a flag if you don't have one. It doesn't have to be a big one, it doesn't have to be a flagpole, but, you know, fly your flags. If you got, there's numerous places you can buy flags, fly your flags. And I had one final little thought I saw on the internet the other day. Common sense is not a gift, it is a punishment, because you have to deal with everyone who doesn't have it. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, and if I remember right, when you were mayor, we didn't have a Pizza Hut either, so. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Just a few quick comments. I'm going to just kind of go over what everybody, didn't go last, you just have to reiterate everything. Welcome back to Pizza Hut. We talked about the skate park. I want to wish everybody a safe, and if it's possible, I don't know if it should even be in the same sentence, but a sane 4th of July. I know the fire department will be on heightened alert as people are enjoying their festivities, but please don't send them up into the sky, because you're going to burn somebody's house down, and I don't think anybody wants that. The Kiwanis Club of Taft will once again, July 4th, be setting out just shy of 50 American flags throughout the city. And I just wanted to thank all those vendors, the merchants that have purchased that opportunity. The Kiwanis Club, for $50 a year as a fundraiser, will place a flag in front of your business or your home, if you so choose, and those dollars stay in Taft, and they are used to fund our activities such as scholarships and Alpha House and things like that. So thank you to the merchants that are purchasing those flags. 50 flags in and around Center Street is a sight to see. We'd like to see 150, so come talk to us. I also wanted to mention A Street Park. I've been watching some activity up there the last few days, and if you get a chance, drive by A Street Park. It's always been a beautiful park, and the West Side Rec District does a wonderful job, but they recently resurfaced the basketball courts. And it's just incredible. It just melds into the landscape. The colors they used on the surface up there are it's just wonderful. Don, your staff, whoever picked out those colors and got that guy to do the work, did a wonderful job. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a treasure for our community. So thank you very much.
What's really nice too, Mr. Mayor, is to see grass from, from border to border to border. It's just beautiful park.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I just
No,
wanted
that's certainly correct. It's a lovely park, and you guys do a great job. We thank you. Also, gentlemen, you all signed a letter we talked about at the last meeting addressed to the governor of the state of California. Since we talked about that, Taft College has contacted me and stated that they're getting ready to do an oil summit, and their intention was also to invite the governor. And so I told the college what we would like to do is be a partner in that. We don't want to try to invite him here twice, but if the two of us could concur on this, get a letter to him, and then that the city of Taft would get a sidebar with the governor when he's here, if he shows up. So if it's all right with you gentlemen, I would like to hold on this letter for the time being. Okay. And we'll get with, Taft College is supposed to be sending us some information so that we can see what we can do on that and do a joint effort to get him here.
You know, the president went to Africa and taking 56 vehicles with him. Do you think the governor will, I don't know how many vehicles we'll have to make room for when he comes down here?
Hope it's not more than 3, but, so anyway, we'll continue working forward on that. And Mr. Pryor, you were the one that suggested that, and I just wanted to let you know where we were at with it. So, I think that's all I had to say. Happy 4th of July to everybody, and we'll move on to department reports. How are we doing on time? You just wave at me when we have to take a quick break, okay? All right, great. So we'll move on to department reports. Do we have any department reports tonight? Seeing none, I just want to quickly take a moment to introduce Battalion Chief Steve Pendergrass with the Kern County Fire Department, Station 21. If you don't, maybe you can swing the camera around. Mr. Pendergrass is here as our representative to the Kern County Fire Department, and you are Shift B?
Correct. My name is Steve Pendergrass. I'm the Battalion Chief of Kern County Fire Department. I'm also been the EMS coordinator for Kern County Fire Department. I was a K-9 handler. I've traveled the country doing classes, doing assignments. Brent Moon is still here. He's not going anywhere. I'm just here to cover the B shift side of it. Dave Witt is C shift, but he's doing a temporary duty right now. Just want to remind you, we are your fire department. Anything you guys can do, I've got business cards for everybody who wants it. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Whatever you guys need for myself and my crew.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate what you guys do for us, and you do a wonderful job for us. And I just want to make sure that you get recognized, because sometimes people don't understand that county is our fire department, and they need to see a face to the name, so to speak. So thank you for being here tonight, and anytime, just let us know, and we'll do what we need to do. Thank you. All right, moving on to city manager statements. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. Just an announcement on the We had a tentative date set for the groundbreaking for the hotel, and I just got word today that will be postponed. I guess there's some coordination going on with Best Western, so no bad news that I've heard. It's just coordinating schedules and stuff, so there will be a date to follow. We were excited to have a tentative date, and of course, you know how those go. It's hard to get everyone on the same page, so no bad news there, but hopefully soon. I also want to thank everyone that's donated for the fireworks for Independence Day. I think it's great to have the fireworks back in Taft. A lot of people want to know why the 3rd, not the 4th, and I think Chambers got the word out why. It makes perfect sense, I think.
Absolutely.
And just another announcement, the city of Taft received a check for $1 million from the state transportation through KernCog for our transit center. That'll be a transportation center that we are going to build on 3rd and Center Street. And we applied for that, it's probably been about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years. The state through bond sales, we didn't know when we'd get it, but we do have the money, and we'll, I think Teresa will be bringing it before you guys to put it in a separate account. So we can sit on it until we get our staff gets coordinated, and we're kind of short-staffed
So we
right now.
actually got this check?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
We have a lot of projects going on that are on the books right now. We have Safe Routes to School that's coming up. We're putting up new bus shelters. We have some rails and trails phases that we're in design right now. We're working through some of the environmental issues in those various projects. So we have a lot going on, and the engineering is kind of uncompetent, but it's nice because we're spending someone else's money. So that's just a update. Probably won't be built the next couple months. Well, we got the money.
We got the money.
And just so everyone knows, $1 million is not a lot of money when you're building a building. So we have to really, we really want to model it after the Delano Transit Center. So we're hoping to use some of their design stuff and save some money. Yeah, so.
Will that include some solar maybe too?
Could. I mean, the nice thing about this money is as long as it's used for what it was given to us for,
You can do
it's not
anything
like a lot of other money, Caltrans money. So we have kind of, we can do it, a lot of things the way we want to do it, so. That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. It would be probably prudent to mention, too, that KernCog is administrating, I want to say about $13 million, and the city of Taft got $1 million of that. That was credit to city staff, and Bob Snoddy, who's a staff member of KernCog, is excited about this. He is thrilled.
We got emails and he's called me, and we scored number 2 out of all the counties, or all the city and the county itself for that money, so we took quite a bit of it.
It's a good deal for Taft. Very good, thank you. Moving on to city attorney statements.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I have nothing for this evening.
All right, thank you, sir. Item number 11 is future agenda requests. Gentlemen, are there any requests for agenda items?
I can't think of anything, Mr. Mayor.
None this evening, thank you, Mr.
The
Mayor.
only one I would mention is the request from the supervisor on the spay-neuter program. Once you get information from them, if that could be brought back to us as an agenda item.
We get the
Yeah.
information.
I concur on that.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar, items 12 through 18. All items on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Gentlemen, is there any removal requests tonight?
I have none.
Seeing none, we will move on to the consent calendar, which consists of item 12, minutes of the June 4th regular meeting. Item 13, payment of bills. 14, second reading ordinance to amend section 3.2-12 of the Taft City Code establishing refuse and street sweeping rates for city customers. Item 15 is the second reading for the ordinance to amend section 3.6-6 of the Taft City Code establishing sewer rates for city residences, businesses, and industrial customers. 16 is the sale of firearms to a firearms dealer. 17, United Way sponsored Born Learning Trail on the Rails to Trails. 18, 4th of July celebration on Rails to Trails sponsored by Taft Chamber of Commerce. And that's it. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop?
Yes.
Councilmember Farrar?
Yes.
Councilmember North?
Yes.
Mayor Linder?
Yes, thank you. The last item on the agenda tonight is a closed session, and we will have conference with our legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, Paragraph A, City of Taft versus California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitations. And we will also have a conference with our labor negotiator, Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. Thank you for being here tonight, and happy 4th of July.